Beautiful people of the world, this is your boy Antonio Augusto coming live from his room, chilling on a Tuesday afternoon, 2 days before his birthday. I'm just sitting here chilling, relaxing. Today, I am riding solo. Everybody's busy, so it's just me today, and I wanted to get in the habit of getting episodes out on a more 2 week base on a more bi-weekly basis. So I'm just sitting here, just messing around, chilling. 2 days before my birthday, I am about to make 42 trips around the sun. 42, and a lot has happened. A lot has happened, and like, what do you say? I don't even know where to begin sometimes. It's it's weird, right? Like, how do you make it to 42 with everything that's happened in your life? From losing my parents, my mom, my dad, my aunt, uncle, grandfather was pretty recently, as a few years ago. And you just kind of sit there and you just go, wow. And then to fighting off heartbreak and depression and, being a husband, being trying to be a decent friend. It's, I don't care what anybody says. It's a balancing act that no one, it's not easy. It's just not. I don't care who you are. It's not easy juggling all of these roles. Just, it just isn't. And I find it sometimes to be monotonous. I'm a guy who loves comic books and toys, but also deals with anxiety and depression sometimes. And it's just, sometimes I want to hang out with people and sometimes I don't. Making a point this year to kind of do more stuff. I mean, look at any news channel in the world. I mean, it's all falling apart, so I might as well enjoy it. We're not meant to be on earth and not enjoy life. You know what I mean? It's just, it's weird. It's been a while since I did a podcast sololy, and I didn't want to, but I didn't want to leave you guys without an episode either. And it's like I woke up this morning too. I was happy AF, and I had it's like sometimes around my birthday I have like weird dreams, and I'm reminiscing about my birthday. Hence the title, Troy. It's a song that I love. They reminisce over you, right? And you just kind of help but go, well, I was thinking about times where, growing up, walking around New York City, and like every Friday, instead of going to the movies, right, I go cop me a couple bootlegs from the Asian spot. And I was always into karate flicks and like Bruce Lee flicks, or like Jet Li was my guy, Jackie Chan, those guys. And you just kind of sit there and you just remember what movies are like. You don't go to the movies to like rip the movie apart. You go because you want to escape life. And I was always a big fan of like Bruce Lee movies, the kung fu, the noise, just something about movies genuinely make you happy. And they take you to a happier place, a happier time. Or like you go see movies with your friends and you just go kick back and you start doing karate moves to each other, not hurting each other. I mean, yeah, sometimes that would happen, but you just in that moment, And I think people forget why we go to the movies. I think people forget that the movies are meant to take you out of whatever crazy is going on in your life. It could be bills, depression, breakups, whatnot. And I think we strayed so far from that. And like, perfect example, me and the missus were watching the Marvels, right? Now, I'm not going to do a review on the Marvels. Just it's my 2 cents. I may do one with Aaron later, but the Marvels is I'll say a decent film. But I will say the Marvels went full Disney. Like the whole song and dance of Disney. You expect that out of a Disney cartoon, not with three ass kicking women on a Marvel screen. I'm like, for real? Like, I could not help when there's a scene in the Marvels where they're doing full Disney, the song and dance, and they're all dressed up, and I'm like, what is happening? Like, what is happening? And my wife is not like genuinely into like Marvel movies like that, but she'll watch them with me. God bless her. But even she looked at me like, "Is this happening right now?" Like, they went full Disney, and you never go full Disney, dog. And you go, wow, you can see why this did not do well. And it completes it's like towards the end of the film, and it completely takes you out of the film. Like, guys, what are you doing? But you kind of see, like, there's stuff even about Marvel that's coming out that none of these guys read the source material. I don't know who in their right mind is telling people don't read the source material. Like, you had years and years on top of years of reading the source material, and you just like, what are you doing? Like, what are we doing? Not care. Stop. Just what are you doing? But it might have not been for me. It might have been for someone else. But I mean, I ain't mad at it. But I think people need to need to remember that the reason why we go to the movies is because the escape of it, the I'm thinking of like words today, the escapism. Like, you want to just escape reality sometimes, and sometimes a great movie comes along. Like, I felt last Marvel movie I felt like that had stakes, and unfortunately is probably Endgame. Like, I wish they didn't kill off Tony Stark, but I can see why you kind of had to. But it's like, guys, if you've never read a book before, why do it? Because now, as you can tell, it kind of paints them in this weird corner, and you just kind of go, really? You're just gonna yawn in my face? My dog, as I'm recording, guys, my dog is just sitting here next to me, and she demands pets. So I'm trying to do two things at once. Okay, I love you, but I need to record. So give me a second. So it's weird. It's like, I want people to remember why they go to the movies. I want people why they go to the movies. Now, I heard there's a movie out today, a Marvel movie called, well, not Marvel Studios, but Madam Web. I can probably tell you, like, I saw the trailer of this movie, and I go, this is probably not going to be good. And I don't need to rub in anybody's face that I was right. People are trashing this movie left and right. I, at this point, I can probably say I told you so. People are tired of crappy movies. Like, people are really tired of crappy movies. And you can only do so much. But I think going forward, like, perfect example, the Deadpool trailer dropped Sunday. I told the missus I am going to see that day one. We are going to see that day one. And there's a line where Ryan Reynolds is like, I am Marvel's Jesus. I think that's gonna be the movie. Mark my words, episode 46 at 2:28 p.m. on the year of our Lord, February 13th. Mark my words, that is gonna save the MCU because people want good content. Like, what was the last show that you had good content? Listen, I if you made it to episode 46 and you've been stuck with me for 46 episodes, I have tried. Like, I love Arrow and I love The Flash. Great shows. Even Arrow had its bumpy seasons, but Flash was that ending was a complete atrocious, and it sucked, and it just left a bad taste in my mouth about anybody that's doing TV. Like, what are we doing? This is Barry's story, and you got the side characters stopping the bad guys. Like, no, like you don't do that. You don't do that. So, getting back to why I woke up so early this morning. Sometimes it is amazing to wake up. Like, I've been thinking of old New York lately. I love. If you haven't noticed, I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York. I am grew up in Williamsburg. I grew up in a predominantly Italian, let's say Italian neighborhood, but the neighborhood was very mixed. And I have these lovely discussions with my wife, and I miss old world New York. But the last time I was home, I don't recognize it. I don't recognize the city I fell in love with. Like, I guess you can make an argument that 9/11 was kind of the beginning of the end for the city, but it's I keep up with the news, and it's so bad now. It's so bad that I even have to consider if I have to go back to New York for any length of time for any reason. My first thought is to keep my wife safe, and maybe I stay in Long Island this time around as opposed to staying in Brooklyn or Manhattan. I got a family to take care of now. I can't be out here in these streets like I used to. I used to love like every weekend next to going to get bootlegs. I used to love going to 14th Street, and I used to love going to I'll go see a movie if I'm not copping bootlegs, of course. But I'm going to this comic store called Forbidden Planet. If you don't know Forbidden Planet, they've been there for years, like for years. And there's another store, and I'll talk about in a minute that I used to like. Um, Forbidden Planet is a great store, and if you haven't been in there recently, listen. We say this all the time: support your local comic store or support your local toy store. Go do that. Go because the comics. They say comics are dying, and I'm starting to think that might be the case. So especially in stores like New York, where like the rent is freaking sky high, and God only knows what they're paying in rent. So you figure maybe a comic is maybe $3 to $4. So go support your local comic store. But anyway, Forbidden Planet is an amazing store. They got like if you walk in, I can visualize it right now. You just walk in there, you just open the door. They got little trinkets of like pops and toys, and then on these amazing walls, they just got nothing but ends of comic books and just all these like good comic books are out, and it's just fun. It feels good to be in there. And but it was smaller than the previous location because they used to have a bigger location, but now I guess the rent got so high they had to move to a smaller location, which isn't a bad thing. It's just um it just kind of sucks. And then there was another store that moved to Brooklyn called St. Mark's Comics. I was going there since I was 8. Well, I want to say 8. Yeah, let's say 8. I was going there since I was 8 years old, 8, 9 years old. And funny story, right? So to give me the illusion that I was independent, I begged my mom to let me go pick up a Batman comic book, right? Uh, couldn't tell you what issue it was, but I know I do have a poster of it somewhere in the house where it's basically Batman on a playing card and it's the Joker's 5-way revenge. Couldn't tell you what happened in the book, didn't matter, but the cover looked awesome. I begged, begged my mom to let me go to the store. It's like, Ma, I could go to the store by myself. It's like, you want to go to the store by yourself? All right, cool. So she let me go, but with the stipulation of you got to call when you get there, you got to call when you're leaving, and you got to call before you get on the train. Cool, no problem. Her exact words: don't talk to nobody, go to the comic store, come back. No problem. I did exactly what my mother said. My mom let me think that I was getting on a train by myself at 8, 9 years old. It wasn't even the case. I realized later that my uncle was on the train, kind of keeping an eye on me and stuff. And literally, I called my mom when I got off the train, when I got up the turnstile and got to the platform. Called my mom, hey, I'm in the train station. It's a 10-minute walk to St. Mark's Comics. That's on 8th Street in the Village, and then it's another 10 minutes back. I literally grabbed my comic book. Even the owner's like, "Are you by yourself?" Like, I think my mom had called ahead saying I was coming into the store and to kind of look out for me. And the owner was so nice. Like, I literally grabbed the Batman book, I grabbed the Justice League book, and I left. Called my mom when I got to train, then made it home. He's like, I'm so proud of you. You came home, sweetie. Little did my uncle was following me the entire time. My uncle Steve was just following me the entire time. It was just to make sure that no shenanigans didn't happen to me. But that was New York. You can't even do that now. Like, there's no way. Like, people would call like child services so fast. Like, oh, little guy, you by yourself? Like, yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I know where I'm going. Oh, I'm gonna call your mom, and then I'm gonna call child service because she's a bad mom. Like, no, that's how it was growing up. Like, I think the kids of today are soft. Perfect example it is. I was on TikTok. I was on TikTok this morning on my way to work, and I just parked my truck, and this guy was a hood dude from Brooklyn. He was talking about, yo, they sent me. My mom used to send me out in the snow when it's a blizzard outside to go to school. Like, I'm walking to school. I kid you not. It's not even 2 inches on the ground in New York City right now, and they're telling these kids to stay home to do I guess what is called the online learning stuff. And I was talking about it with a coworker and I go, do you know what my mom would have did if it was like a blizzard outside? She's like, you better get up and go to school. Now, provided that's how hard parents were. That my mom, God bless her soul, before she passed, she said, listen, I need you to get out. Go. I don't care what you do. Just go. And snow days were like the best days because, I wouldn't exactly go right to class right away. I'd be having a snowball fight with my friends and just throwing snowballs and just having fun. Like the pure innocence of that. Or in 96, there was a blizzard too, right? In 96, there was a blizzard. And I think I was a little older. I think I was back home. I think I was back home, a little older. And me and my friends, no school that day. So, my mom was like, listen, I don't care what you do. Just be back in this house by 5 o'clock. No problem. Me and my friends, my friends, Corey, Larry, my cousin Jamal, a whole bunch of people from the neighborhood. We just went to this football field in Eastern District where we had the great Royal Rumble of 96. 96, where we were just out there. No food, no nothing, just out there wrestling each other for hours. This is the height of like the Attitude Era. This is like The Rock, Stone Cold, Triple H, all these guys. And we out there doing wrestling moves for like hours on end. Hours. Now today I can't even do that without be like 20 minutes of 2 hours in. I gotta go eat something because my blood sugar's freaking dying. I'm like, yo, can you imagine? I'm wrestling like with a bunch of kids, and like 2 hours in, I'm like, man, my energy's so bad. I gotta go eat something because my blood sugar low. This is how I hate getting old. I hate getting older because it's like, I'm working out, and it just like, no, my body's like, you can't do that young man stuff no more. You just can't do that. And then 96, that blizzard, you just used to do a lot of dumb stuff. So like, I got back home so fast because I literally hopped on the back of the bus, and if you just kick your feet up a little bit, you can ride the bus back to the whole neighborhood. So you don't have to walk. You don't have to walk too much, but it doesn't always work, and you can end up really legitimately hurting yourself. So there's that. Man, and it's just I miss the pure innocence of it. Like now I sent a wife my picture of my aunt's neighborhood. She lives in Jersey, where she's just kind of it's all she snowed in. She's fine, but I was like, man, if I had another German Shepherd, we'd be out there just mess around for a couple hours, and then I'm like, I'm done for the day. My blood sugar's low. It's what it is. Today I'm just kicking it with you guys, man. I just wanted to talk. Man, I didn't really want to talk about like it's getting hard to talk about comic books when all the crazy crap that's going on in the world. Look, I don't need to say it. You hear about like people over the border. You hear about what the president's doing. You hear about what the orange redhead former president's doing. You hear about what's going on all overseas. You hear about um, people sending money overseas when you should like give people money here. It's just like enough is enough. And that's really all I'm gonna say about that. But it's getting hard to care about comic books. Like it's like I don't want to worry about. Like I'm gonna be honest, I don't want to worry about this shit. I don't want to like wake up in a world where like it could be the United States of whatever. As a young YouTube as a young TikTok put it, we are becoming the United States of Section 8. This is not fun for anybody. I work a decent job. My wife works a decent job, but they're handing out everybody else help but the people who live here. And that's not cool. Like, we could barely take care of ourselves, let alone somebody else. And it just, hopefully, something will give and somebody will put a stop to it. And, and it's what it is, man. So, nearly 20 minutes. I'm doing pretty well. Let's see what else is going on. Oh! Did you hear what Marvel and DC are doing? They are reprinting the old crossovers. They're reprinting like the Marvel versus DC in the '90s. They're reprinting the Superman versus Spider-Man, Batman versus a Hulk. Yeah, that was a thing. I don't know why. They're reprinting the X Men versus Teen Titans at the height of their heyday, which honestly, out of all those stories, Teen Titans and versus X Men is a great story. It's a great story, along with the Superman and Superman versus Spider Man, which is also a great story too. Batman and Hulk, not so much. The story is just weird, but like it's nice to get those stories again and they're being reprinted and it's good. And then you get in the I hope I'm pronouncing this right, the Aglaham universe, basically where they mix the DC and Marvel universe and got titles like Spider Boy and JLX and good book. It was a good time to be a comic book reader, and I honestly think those books save comics. And I honestly think that if comics needed a booster shot, that Marvel and DC need to do that one more time. And just I think a lot of people thought that movies would get people into comic stores. Clearly, that's not the case anymore because like Disney, I don't know what the hell Disney doing, honestly. But if you're trying to get people to get in stores, I think that's how you do it. You get a really good Marvel versus DC crossover, and it'll inject some life into these books because you'll get old heads, new heads, young heads in that store, and inject some life into these books and inject some cash flow into these comic stores. Because I keep hearing that comic stores are dying out and stuff. And you know what? Since I'm talking about comics, always support your local comic store. Support your local comic store. Go do that. Go support your local comic store. Seriously, pre-order your books. Pre-order your books. Like I just checked out the Duke comic book from GI Joe by Joshua Williamson. Great book. Go pick up that book. I'm like leaving out of town for a couple weeks, and I'm gonna hit some comic stores while I'm in Vegas. I'm gonna pick up some books, and then I'm going on another trip on a couple weeks after. So I'm gonna be a busy little boy. So which is why for like I guess I can say now for the month of March and April there will be less episodes, but I will make sure that they're filled to the brim. You guys get content going forward because I'm hoping in 2024 there won't be too much of a lap in episodes. Like I know like we went like a month or nearly 2 months without content. No, I'm not doing that no more. It'll either be me or it'll either be the boys, and the boys are busy. And I get it. Life happens. But I'm gonna probably inject new faces into the podcast. I'm gonna be talking about more toys. Oh, we'll get to that in a minute. But toys in the podcast. But I overall Life Rants is to talk about life. It's not always going to be comic books. It's not always going to be toys. It's life, everything that goes around you. And sometimes I want to prepare people now. Sometimes we're going to hit hot button issues. I'm not going to be afraid to speak my mind against hot button issues. I don't agree with everything going on. You may not like my opinion, but as long as we're respectful. The perfect example of this is Aaron. We always kind of beef about Cyclops, Scott Summers. I think Cyclops is the most amazing hero that Marvel's ever written to this day. The guy has been a hero since he was 15 years old, like Spider-Man. Care. But he's been a good guy, a bad guy, and then he's been a straight hero since. And that's the guy that I want. Now, the only reason why I think Aaron doesn't agree with him sometimes is because the guy got written as a deadbeat dad, and it's a lot. And if you're wondering what happened, me and Aaron do talk about it in past episodes. So I would recommend you just go back and listen to that. So there's that. So let's see, toy wise, there's really not much going on. I mean, okay, so the second wave of X-Men 97 went up for pre-order. Go to Amazon, go to Big Bad Toy Store, go to Hella Dope Toys, go to Nerdzoic, pre-order your toys because that's the thing now. Also remember, a lot of people last year went to Ollie's and got toys. More power to you. There's an Ollie's like by my house, but I don't always go. But they're not going to do a lot of toys as many people think. So just be prepared for that. If you really want an action figure, Be prepared to pay the full price for it. Look, I don't agree with how these companies price gouge people, but if you want it, go pick it up. Let's see what else. Uh, also support the local, not local, support the smaller toy stores, support Valiverse, support Spiro Toys, 5K Toys, Jada Toys. Jada Toys, I just got like they're doing Mega Man and Street Fighter action figures that are really articulated. It's not terribly it's not terribly expensive. Usually run you about $27 a figure. I think with Jada, they're working on their distribution, which is good. They know the problem. They are working on it. Um, their figures are good, and it kind of shows that they can do a lot with $25 figures and give you like really good articulation. Okay, what else? Valiverse Bobby dropped his season, not season, but series 4 figures. Guys, if you never had a Valiverse figure in your hand, I implore you, Valiverse.com, hella dope, Nerdzoic, Big Bad Toy Store. Go to those sites, pick you up a Valiverse figure. I don't want to say they're like G.I. Joe. It's his own brand. But if you are a fan of G.I. Joe Classified, go pick up those figures. They're better made, they're better quality. The guns are amazing. Like literally, a I called him Puerto Rican Beard Roadblock. I put him on a Valiverse body. It looks so much better. I took a blade head on and put him on a Valiverse body. It's so much better. Let's see what else. What else? What else? He got his car, the Vanguard, coming out. It'll set you back. I am not gonna sugarcoat it. It's a nice car. It's a nice freaking car, but it will set you back about $200. So if you get a bonus this year, support Bobby Bala, support his line. I'm telling you, you will not be disappointed. You will not be disappointed. Oh, what else? What else is going on in the toy world? Not really much. Like I got my birthdays. My wife has already bought me a whole bunch of toys for my birthday, and I will post pictures here in the next maybe the next day or so because it's my birthday weekend. I'm gonna be a little busy. Let's see. I'm almost certain that's it. What? Nothing. Is there anything else I wanted to? No, I think that's it, man. I took up 30 minutes of your time going talking about nothing. If you manage to hang out with me, I appreciate it. I'm trying to think if there's anything else, and I really can't. And I'm stalling for time. No, 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 no. I think that's it. I took up 30 minutes of your time. If you made it through the 30 minutes, I appreciate you. Anybody that's listened to the podcast, I appreciate you. I promise in 2024, there's going to be a lot more content. There's going to be a lot more guests on the podcast. I am pushing for that, but it's hard to get schedules. I work in the morning, but I also have to be copacetic to the guy that wants to be on the podcast. So there's that. Let's see. Let me do some plugs, and I am gonna get you guys up out of here. Life Rants Pod on TikTok. Life Rants Pod 23 on TikTok. One. King Krakoa on TikTok. That's KingKrako. King Krakoa on TikTok. All right, my homie Ivan Angel. Just Ivan Angel, all one word on TikTok. All right, me, Antonio. Oh, I didn't even write it down. Antonio Life Rants 82 on IG. Life Rants Geek Culture on Facebook. Let's see, is there anything else? Listen, wherever you are in the world, wherever place you listen to, I am glad to keep going. Keep listening to the podcasts. It's gonna get fun. Oh. Listen, toy channels. Yes, I knew it was one more thing. I think the 3POA podcast, and I'm not shitting on anybody else's podcast. If you have time, Ryan Laserpants, Bobby Vala, Analog Toys. If you don't listen to this podcast, you don't listen to this show, they are giving you information about toys, about just whatever, giving you their opinions. I think you should support that show. If I'm not mistaken, they're on YouTube. They're not. I don't think there's any audio on like iTunes or whatnot. But go support that show. It's a great show. Since I'm here, I support Articulated Ninja. It's a fun toy reviewer to watch. It's so many toy reviewers. I will get around. The next time I'm on, I will talk about you more. I think I may just do, if I do another solo, I may just talk about toy reviews and like toy reviewers in general. See if I can just go as long as I want. So, yeah, 3POA. Then, of course, come check us out. Come check us out, the Life Rants podcast. Now, since it's Valentine's Day and I know dudes need advice, there's another podcast I love to recommend called Man School 202. Dante Nero, Henry Tarjanian. Go check out that podcast. It teaches you how to be a better dude, to be a better guy. ACE, authenticity, credibility, and empathy. Say it again. ACE, authenticity, credibility, and empathy. Listen, guys, you made it through for 30 minutes. Thank y'all so much. I'll see y'all in about a week or two. All right, guys, take care. Peace. Hey, it's Antonio. I'm just going to help a friend out. So, we are promoting VGI Credit Repair. So, by learning how to work on personal credit, we learn to use the fair reporting rack against the three main boroughs. We are also specializing getting people's financial freedom back. It doesn't matter if it's bank for free, student loans, collections, late payments, or we can work with you and help you become part of the 700 Score Club. It's 50% off the initiation fee that people that mention our podcast. Any contact info you want to reach the guys is 214-478-7996 or contact at vgicreditrepair.com, or they have an Instagram, VGI Credit Repair. Also, since I'm here, also check out Illusions. It's a clothing line. I'm helping my friend Keandre out. So, guys, thank y'all for doing what y'all do, and y'all have a great day. Peace, and enjoy the podcast.